It is a pleasure to meet you at this opportunity to talk about a number of things. What's the prediction for year 2013 and how year 2012 passed, fewer days left, and what does come on the news about the end of the world and a number of things. There are a number of predictions says December 21st, the end of the world. Well, there is no end of the world unless there is an asteroid comes from the out of the earth and hit the earth, or any solar energy much bigger than we can imagine and hit the earth. This is the only scenarios, but anything else human can control, and this is the subject of my brief message. My visit to Congress, United States Congress, on July 24th, 8 days before the debt ceiling increases, it could prevent a number of things and could put $26 trillion growth on United States gross domestic product from 15.6 to increase more $26 trillion, and that's much of growth. Everybody gets money, even newborn children, they get money in their pockets. Just to organize a number of things, that's just an example. There are a number of things needs to get organized, and what happens in the United States happens in other countries with different growth amount according to each country availabilities. Let me start with the commodities markets and the financial markets. These are just an example. They call it markets, not market. Commodities markets. At this moment, most of the commodities work on barter agreements. There are much of financial tools not there. Markets starts from a specific level to another level to another level to another level to another level to another, until the final goods comes on purchase or becomes available for sale. Similarly is applied with the financial markets. Financial services has level to another level to another level to another level to another to another level, until you get the what you get on the through financial institutions or financial transactions or any kind of purchase you apply, or contracts or those kind of things. None of those are available. Economy needs to be organized. Economy structure enhancement. A visit I made to the city of Los Angeles, that's just an example. You remember I mentioned the distribution theory. I'm not talking about other than commodities. It is the basics to teach on economics. There are a number of about 6 commodities. I traveled through too many states, and I visited Los Angeles more than 6 times, from the East Coast to the West Coast. What happened on that visit, I made a business survey, about 6 commodities, variation on each cost of each of the similar items in different areas. Just Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles, Venice, West Hollywood, Santa Monica, Palisades, a number of other areas. What I found, different prices for similar items, huge difference from area to another to another to another to another, and it comes to downtown Los Angeles. They are selling those items, similar items, with different prices. Well, what do you get from that? Number of things. Huge growth, sounds of growth of money that comes to city budget. What needs to get done? You got raw data. Do you have the raw data? That's part. What comes after you get these raw data? It brings much of growth. How many cities in the state of California? 482 cities and 482 municipalities, cities and towns. How much money could get from that? Just an example. There are much of growth to generate from these kind of things, and there are few millions of commodities to deal with in those commodities markets. There are levels, level and other level and other level. All those levels, it brings the commodities. None of them found the attention. The beneficiary, you are the beneficiaries. Those who are the buyers and the sellers. Who are the buyers? Who are the sellers? That's level, another level, another level, another. At the end, it brings growth to the city budget. Instead of city of Los Angeles receive $100 billion cut on their budget from year 2010 to year 2011, yeah, they get $2 trillion minimum increase on city gross domestic product. And you remember, I mentioned between $2 trillion to $12 trillion growth, $6 trillion on average. And there is a 6% growth amount, a letter delivered to the city mayor, and at any time, much of growth can get to city of Los Angeles and the rest of the cities, which means the state of California becomes much better than any time before. Similarly is applied with the other states. National government associations need to get focus on those things. In other words, we are controlling our lives, standard of living. We decide, and we get it better or get it worse. There are a number of decisions not successful enough to get things. I can call it on the opposite directions from growth. To get a debt ceiling increase is good to finance expenditure on the federal budget. It's not a problem. But what other options are available? Just an example, $26 trillion from the financial industry only. There are more than 226 main and derivative industries. Our authorities, financial authorities in federal government, Federal Reserve districts, Treasury Department, and the Congress-related committees, and I can mention on specific banking, Senate Banking, Housing and Urban Affairs Committee, and the House Representative Financial Service Committee, and a number of other committees. I can mention Agriculture, Committee on Agriculture, Congress, and on Senate and House of Representatives. There is no data, agricultural data, to help on those level from another level, from another commodities markets. What acts they have there on those industries? Industries development, that's another chapter to talk about, relates to trade transformation, import and export, can bring much of growth, not less than $200 trillion. This is unlimited commodities markets in the United States, from overseas, domestic range. Everybody get benefits from this growth. Exporters, importers, they generate growth. Other countries similarly supplied according to each country availabilities. United States, there is no administrative cost. Much of the cost of production are much less and encouraging investors. But what is happening is the opposite. They say the cost is much bigger. No, it is not. Any loan from the International Monetary Fund to any country, number of countries, that's an evaluation, very simple evaluation. Part of those countries, they lose 80% of the loan on administrative costs, transportation fees or expenses, number of things to communicate or to get to area that needs to get developed. Number of countries, they lose between 40 minimum, it's 40% loss on each loan amount on administrative cost, between 40% to and more than 80%. Well, that's the difference between country to another. Why country similar to United States subject to $26 trillion immediate increase? Because the availabilities. Why other countries subject to millions of dollars growth increase? Why others subject to billions of dollars growth increase? Why other countries subject to trillions of dollars growth increase? Well, according to their availabilities, at the end, we decide what's good and what's bad and how our next year how it would be. Good, good, with much of growth, less of growth, more obligations, less obligations, and I can say a total clearance of any debt. That could happen still. We have 4 days. In 24 hours, $26 trillion becomes available in the United States. Other countries, well, there are a number of things. Through Basel Accords, a number of things could get done. The central banks, or what they call it, national banks, or the financial authorities and treasury departments, those who get connected on those financial areas and decide what's good to their geographical area. And I'm getting back to the commodities markets, financial markets. They have level. None of those levels are available. Thank you very much for this very fast message to conclude the day-by-day reports on the latest edition. And I wish you happy year with much of money in your pocket. It's not. It does facilitate your lives. It does brings much of things, and everything becomes much easier. And from necessities, why we could get to commodities, we can consider it luxuries. It depends on your authorities, local or state or federal. Thank you. Another wish for a happy year. Thank you very much.